We sold our family home and we're now in the process of trying to find our flat in the craziest housing market that Ireland has ever seen. We've been outbid, we've been blocked from bidding because we're in a chain, and now we're learning very, very quickly that buying a house in 2026 in Ireland is a lot harder than what we actually expected. But before we get into that, let me introduce myself. My name is Brian and welcome to our channel. We're a family of 4 plus our dog. We are living in a town in County Kildare, just outside of or beside the Curragh. And over the next while, we're going to bring you along while we're trying to completely change our lives without trying to completely lose our minds in the process. So why are we moving if this house already gives us everything that we need? We just realized that the lifestyle we want long term is different. We always talked about living more rural, more space, more quiet, a slower pace of life. The kind of place where the kids can disappear for hours and just be kids. And somewhere along the way, it stopped being an idea and became something that we actually want to pursue, something that we actually want to make happen. So our ideal home would be a 4-bedroom attached house in the middle of nowhere, peaceful, quiet. We realized very quickly that that's a very expensive dream, and unless one of us wins the lotto secretly, it's not something that we're going to be able to afford, and we have to compromise, or we have to compromise somewhere. So our choices became option 1, find something decent that just needs a little cosmetic work, or option 2, find a fixer-upper and spend the rest of our lives questioning our life choices. So we knew that we didn't have the money to make a cash offer outright. So we had to go down the road of applying for another mortgage. The bank wanted what we would consider the usual documentation to make a mortgage application, like payslip, proof of employment, and what else was there? Or you have bank statements, of course. Oh, and apparently if you own a Revolut account, you now also have to hand over your entire life history to the bank, just in case. Now, we did get approved about a month after we started the whole process, but with a big, important condition. We also had a loan from the credit union for a recent asset conversion, and their condition was that we had to make sure that that was fully paid off before we could draw down on that new mortgage. So that left us with basically all of our savings wiped out. So we went for that option because to us that made a lot more sense. Get rid of the loan, start saving aggressively for the deposit for the house. Now came the biggest step of all, putting our own house up on the market. And once we decided to do that, things went so fast. The ad went up on Daft. It drew immediate attention by several people, including neighbours who knocked on our door to ask if we would consider selling to them. And after just one Saturday morning viewing of, I think there was 15 or maybe 16 people who were interested in the house and viewed the house, we got one initial offer of the asking price, which kind of kicked it all off. And then on the Monday, when I came home from work, I basically bumped into the neighbour who knocked on the door, and he advised that he was all morning in contact with the estate agent, going back and forth with several other individuals bidding on the house, and it was already gone up to, I think it was 40,000 more than what the asking price was. So an amazing start. And it just continued all the way through to the Friday, where we then eventually got an offer for 440,000 that we could just not turn away. And honestly, hearing that number out loud was a bit surreal because the house was in my wife's family since the 1950s. And boom, just like that, we accepted the offer and the house went sale agreed. So looking at the market, and even though the speed our house has sold has obviously benefited us, it's also making it hard for us to find something, because we're now in the position that our buyers were in, where it's a fast-paced market. It's there's people who are willing to pay well above asking price for homes that we wouldn't have been able to afford if they go to that part, if they go that far. So it's tough finding something at the moment. We're already getting outbid, or there's a situation where sellers might not even consider us because we're in a chain and we aren't cash buyers. And then to add to that complication, we're also limited to what we can afford, because we need to consider renovation costs and other bits and pieces, because what we're realistically looking at is a fixer-upper. We love to think of our dream home as an option, but unfortunately it's not. And even getting a house that we would have considered option one, substantially nicer than a fixer-upper, but with some cosmetic work, I think we're realizing is out of our budget too. So yeah, things are getting tough. So far we had no luck in finding anything. So that's where we are right now. We are sale agreed, still house hunting, slightly stressed all the time. And but look, for the next video, what we'll do is we'll bring you along on a viewing, and maybe, just maybe, we'll find that house that is worth fighting for. So if you want to follow our journey, please consider subscribing, like the video if you wouldn't mind, and we look forward to hopefully seeing you in the next video. Best of luck. Thanks a million.